Hi, and welcome to another edition of On Location. Here we are today at Cool 101.9 FM with Amie Meneghetti. And Amie, thank you so much for inviting us in today and to talk to us here on our pilot program. Really, we want to find out what's going on in your life and where you come from and what you're all about. So let's start with that. What is your background? Where do you come from?
I come from Springfield, Illinois, right here, and proud to say that I do. Born and raised here, went to St. Joseph's School, went to Ursuline Academy High School, went away to college in Northern California, where my dad's sister lived. We used to go out there and visit all the time when I was little, and just decided to get away from the Midwest for a little while, take out and go out to California. Had a great communication school. Graduated, came back here, and boy, I started my career in radio at WTAX, running St. Louis Cardinal games and the Rush Limbaugh show, which was a real treat, let me tell you. But then I graduated and did some overnight shifts and some fill-in shifts at WDBR, and then did mornings for DBR for a little while, then got fired from WDBR. And
well, that happens with a lot of radio stations because of ratings and whatnot.
Right, and I have a bad temper. And anyway, then they, Saga Communications, this is our parent company, they decided to start another radio station. They already had YMG here, WYMG, and they thought, hey, let's put an oldie station on the air. So myself and a gentleman named Dan Marcus and Steve Goldstein, who's the corporate program director for Saga, we all worked together for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was really neat to see the inception of a radio station, you know, see what you have to do to actually get it on the air, you know?
So ultimately those radio waves were WVEM at one time.
They were.
So what was it like to do the transition between that sort of format that they were putting out there and what you wanted to start up?
Well, it really was just a blank piece of paper, you know, because it was ours now. We took the signal away, and we definitely knew that we wanted to do oldies. So it was nice to have different models of different oldie stations, because Saga owns about 65 different stations throughout the country. So we kind of modeled after a lot of those stations, but we also tried to put our own personality on it and introduced the station in 1993, I believe. I think it was in November, by playing Louie Louie 10,000 times.
And that worked.
It worked. People were like, what's this station, you know, because people were familiar with the 101.9, but all of a sudden the music has changed.
Right.
So
what happened after that? You left Springfield.
Yes, I was there at Cool for about 5 years. I left Springfield, went to upstate New York and worked there for about 3 or 4 years. Loved it. Beautiful part of the country. Did mornings. And then I moved down to Florida.
Tallahassee, if I...
No, I moved down first to a place called Titusville, which is right across the bay from the Cape Canaveral, where they shoot up the, what do you call it?
Rockets.
Thanks, rockets and shuttles, that's it. So I worked there, and I did evenings in Orlando. So I was doing radio again, I was doing afternoons, I was doing evenings, I'd fill in for mornings. And then a morning show job came available in Melbourne, Florida, so I went down there and did mornings for 4 or 5 years. And then I left there and went up to Tallahassee. Lived up there for about 5 or 6 years and did mornings again. I've just been all over the place, a vagabond. And then I went up to Cheyenne, Wyoming. I had an opportunity to try TV. And, yeah.
Well, what progressed you into television from radio then?
You know, it was just, it's just an ever-shrinking business. You know, I was at the stations that I was at in Tallahassee had 5 stations and 36 full-time people when I started. And when I left for the job in Cheyenne, there were 6 full-time people. So the computers are taking over the world, and the people, they don't need as many bodies. So I thought, why not try TV? So I moved up to Cheyenne, Wyoming. I reported and did weekend weather. Didn't like TV. Just didn't fit with me. Not spontaneous enough, not fun enough. Very serious, you know.
And ultimately, Wyoming was maybe a little bit smaller market because of just the population of Wyoming.
Right.
And so then you came back to Springfield.
Came back to Springfield because they laid off a ton of us, and moved in with my father. Thanks, Dad. And got a job in Peoria doing weather on the weekends. So I did that for a while. And then I called my good friend Liz Willis at YMG and said, hey, you know what, I'm back in town, let's go out and have a drink. And she said, are you back? Or are you just back for a visit? And I said, no, I'm back. And she said, oh my gosh, the guy that replaced you when you left 12 years ago is leaving. So I called the manager and I said, hey, can I come in and, try out? And he's like, sure. So came in for a couple mornings, tried out, made me sweat for a couple of weeks, and then they gave me the job at Cool.
What a wonderful twist of fate.
Timing in life is everything.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Right. And welcome back. Of course, we
Thanks.
don't have to say that. You've been around now another, 4 years?
Almost
3 or
4 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
Fantastic. So tell me, while you've been working here, evidently last holiday season, you had a promotion that actually won some award.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
30 Good Deeds in 30 Days. My idea behind this was, I feel like at the holidays, all of us radio stations and TV stations have our hands out going, help this cause, help that cause, which is great, Toys for Tots, food, whatever. But my idea with this was the opposite. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go into these nonprofit organizations, and I said I was going to do 30 good deeds in 30 days. A good deed was constituted by 2 hours. So they called me or I called them. I got my whole 30 days organized, and every day I would go in, I would talk to them on tape and tell me what your organization does and tell people what I'm doing here. And I would be there for 2 hours, and then I'd come back and I'd talk about it. And I'd say, you know what? We have so many great nonprofit organizations in Springfield. It's just amazing.
It is a giving community.
It is.
Absolutely.
And I said, if you have a chance to volunteer just once a week, because I feel so good when I volunteer, and I wanted people to know more about these organizations, give back my time and learn more about them, and give back in the way that maybe people be a little more educated as to exactly the nonprofits we have around here.
So who recognized this as being a
Illinois Broadcasters Association.
IBA,
Yeah,
right?
the
So
IBAs.
during their Silver Dome Awards,
Yes.
is that correct? And when was that exactly?
Last year, sometime around, I think it was like last May.
Okay, okay. Well, fantastic. And so tell me a little bit something about what's one of your uncommon things about yourself?
I'm very shy.
Yeah, we sense that every day that we tune in. But ultimately, understand you're quite an athlete. And
I
you
love
do
to
go out
run.
and run
I
and
run
ride
a
your
lot.
bike.
I run a lot. I run a lot from the law, and I run a lot in the Oak Ridge Cemetery because I love it. There's no cars. There's hills. It's peaceful. I love to stop and read some of the tombstones when I get winded or something. I love running up and down the steps in the back of the tomb. It's great exercise. I mean, it's all natural. It doesn't cost me a dime. I can go whenever I want. So I've always been a big advocate of running and biking.
Well, you definitely seem like you are going to take care of your body.
Right.
And that includes what you eat.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Strict vegetarian, real strict since I was 15. No, nothing that had a mother or eggs or eyes or anything. Let's see, so that no fish, no chicken, no meat, no eggs, no milk, a little bit of cheese, but really pretty much vegan, vegetarian.
Now, being around the community and being out at all sorts of different activities, I'm sure you come across food at some of these activities.
Right.
How hard is it not to partake in, and just join in with the festivities and get in there and maybe, like at the state fair, go around and
Right.
how do you walk past the corn dogs or the
Right.
Spies fries or
Right.
what have you? I mean, ultimately, how does that make you feel?
It doesn't bother me. I just say, I'm not hungry. I really don't like to get into the whole vegetarian thing, Some people know about it because I'll mention it on the air once in a while, but it really doesn't impede me at all. I know people offer me free food all the time, and sometimes I'll take it, give it to my dad. I just usually say, no, thanks, I'm really not hungry. So it doesn't
Right.
really affect my job too
Now,
much.
ultimately, I remember a time when you and I shared a pizza from a very favorite pizza joint
Yes.
that we have around town,
Uh-huh.
and you had a cheese pizza at that time. So that sort of thing is
Every once in a while, I'll splurge.
okay.
It's okay,
All right.
yeah.
Well, how can you pass up
You can't pass up.
Joe's Pizza? I'm sorry, but
Joe's.
gotta mention that. So what, out of all the different things that you've done, and I'm sure you do them all the time, almost every weekend we tune in, and there you are on Cool 101.9
Right.
doing something, out promoting a certain business or something around
Sure.
town. What is one of your favorite things to do?
It's just so many different ones. I just love when I get to get out and talk to people. It's really interesting because in radio, so many people I know go in there, they do their morning show, and then they come off out of the studio, and they're kind of shy. And there's a lot of people in radio who are shy. That's just not me. And I just love to get out, whether it be a live broadcast at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries or live broadcast out at one of the walks or runs, just to get out and talk to people. You know, it's great to see. They always want to see what I look like. They're always shocked to see what I look like. Everybody thinks I'm like 5'2" and blonde and 300 pounds. I mean, I'm not kidding you. People say that to me constantly. It's hilarious.
Well, they obviously will say different now after they watch this today.
They say, you have a big voice. I say, I know, but I'm not that big.
Now, ultimately, how's it feel to be in radio, whether it be radio or television? You always see people coming and going. And a lot of times it's because they're moving on and moving up in their lives, or sometimes they're being dismissed because of ratings or something along that line, or cost cut measures. How's it feel to watch individuals float in and out of a radio station? Does it add to or subtract from the actual station?
I don't know. It kind of depends on the people that come in and the people that leave. You know, some are, I think, more important to the community than others. If you come from a different market, that I've moved to different markets and I'm not from there, I really try to embrace the community, try to get to know people, get to know the jocks there and things. Some people come in and they don't care. They just want to get on the air and do their thing and leave. So it's kind of depends on the personality. It's always sad when you work with somebody for a long time and they leave. And I have friends throughout the entire country because I worked in so many different places, and you try to keep in touch, but it doesn't always work.
Now, you've actually helped some businesses and your promotions. How do you develop these ideas, like the cake idea and the cupcake idea that you have from week to week, or the pin club, you know, that is kind of a pun on words.
Right, right.
How do you come up with these ideas?
You know, honestly, I'm not kidding you. I leave a notepad next to my bed and I wake up with these ideas. I really do. It's very strange. That's how I came up with 30 Good Deeds in 30 Days. I just had this, I don't know, this vision or something. But I'm also much more creative than I am intelligent. So if I sit down and have a glass of wine, you'd be amazed at the things I can come up with. It's really weird.
So, any future projects you'd like to divulge at this particular moment?
Well, we've got Sweet Relief going on this year. We're going to kind of take a different spin on that. We've got our ice cream truck. And so what we've decided to do is take it out to certain locations at certain times, and people can come by and get the ice cream, you know, when they want to. That way we thought, well, maybe they can come to us and we can make it easier than just going to one location, kind of spread it around a little bit. But I got some stuff coming up in the fall I can't divulge.
Okay, all right. We'll be waiting on that anxiously.
Okay.
Is there anything in particular you want to tell us that we just don't know about you?
Not really. I mean, you know, okay, I'll tell you what, one thing people ask me, you know, some guy the other night, how many shots of espresso do you do in the morning? I don't drink coffee. I don't drink anything. I drink water. It's natural energy. It really is. That's why I run, to wear myself out, you know.
Do you work out before work in the morning?
No,
or, okay.
after.
After work.
Yeah, so I can eventually go to sleep. But my mom says to a lot of people, you know, when Amie was a little girl, she invented female baldness because I thought I was going to pull all my hair out. But if I could put my energy, if I could put my energy in a bottle and sell it, I'd be rich. But I'm just naturally an energetic person, and as the older I get, it does not fade. So. Okay.
Do you do any? Ultimately, you do travel. You just recently went on vacation. So where are some of the favorite spots you like to go to?
Italy. Italy is my favorite.
Is that where you just came from?
No, I just came from Michigan, up there on the lake, which is really beautiful and nice. And
a little bit cooler maybe up there.
Yes, exactly. It's a great place to go in the summertime.
Okay. And any place you haven't been that you would like to go?
Oh, yes, tons of different places. It's hard to say because I've lived in so many different spots, and you know, when you springboard off and go see places around there, probably more out west. You know, living in California, everything is so big out there; it takes forever to get anywhere. Whereas you go on the East Coast, and they're nice and close together. So there's a couple spots out there. My brother lives in Colorado, so I love going out and seeing him.
Fantastic. So, well, I want to thank you for your time today.
No problem.
And for allowing us to come in your studio and talk with you and get to know you a little bit better.
Good.
Hopefully this won't be the last time you're on our program.
Hopefully
and
not.
we hopefully have you back at some point.
Okay.
And
when you get desperate, call me.
Yeah, well, we don't have to be desperate to call you, Amie.
Lying.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.